Hey guys, welcome back. We are going to be talking about the word safe today. The reason we're talking about the word safe is because it came up for me a couple times this week. Um, One thing I had learned on one of my videos that I watch is that if you have a tendency to move a lot, which I actually do, I didn't realize it, it could be a sign that you have an inner child wound of not feeling safe. So, I never actually considered myself to have that wound, but I have been exploring it. The other thing I thought was interesting with the word safe is that, um, of course, it's one of those homophones, right? So it's a feeling or intangible, I guess, thing with safe, with feeling safe. And then there's also the tangible object of a safe, right? If you think about it, you go to a hotel room, and most hotel rooms have a safe and um, to put your valuables in, your laptop, your money, whatever, etc. Anything that you think might be stolen. So that got me thinking because I took a class tonight, and it was offered. New Mexico offers these online classes through All Faiths Church, where they deal with kids who have been traumatized. So, in my personal journey and also in my holistic business, it behooves me to learn those things. So, we are looking up safe today. Um, so, as an adjective, of course, do what we always do, right? We gotta look up the word in the dictionary. Um, so, the word safe, the first definition is free from harm or risk, secure from threat of danger, harm, or loss, success at getting to a base in baseball without being put out. And if any of you know my Aunt Kathy, she'll tell you if they're safe or not because the ump is almost never right. And I love that. I love watching sports with my Aunt Kathy. At any rate, I digress. Affording safety or security from danger, risk, or difficulty. Um, obsolete of mental obsolete of mental or moral faculties, healthy or sound. That's weird. Not threatening danger, harmless, unlikely to produce controversy or contradiction, not likely to take risks, cautious, trustworthy or reliable. So those all pretty much allude to the same thing. There's a couple things in there that kind of jump out at me, like unlikely to produce controversy or contradiction. Okay, so if I don't feel safe, it could be because nobody ever believes me. I guess that's what I'm hearing there. Or I've always been lied to. I guess I was thinking safe in the way of my actual physical safety, right? So I lock the doors at night, or, I don't know. I guess that's the biggest thing. Or lock my car, keep things safe. If I look up safe as a noun, let's see. I'm just curious what they say you would put in there. Okay, so place or receptacle to keep articles such as valuables safe. Some synonyms would be safety deposit box, strong box, coffer. That's weird. I never heard of that before. Some examples of the adjective. You need to make sure that the children are safe and sound. That's funny. We might have to explore that safe and sound because I hear that a lot. Of sound mind, right? So that would be like not crazy, I guess, not necessarily crazy, but like calm, I guess, and of sound mind. I'm actually gonna. Well, we'll look that up later. At any rate, so the 14th century meaning would be free from harm or risk. I guess you could make the assumption that being lied to is a level of harm. Now, I never associated lie with safe. So I'm going to try to figure out a way, talking tonight, to kind of program that into my subconscious, right? Because in my subconscious, when I think of safe, the first thing I think of is, the big black safe with a dial on it, or a bank safe or something like that, right? And I think by default, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but you guys tell me if I'm wrong. Most people, sorry, it's just water, guys. Most people would want to put money in a safe. But yet, how many people take that much care and consideration with not lying to other people to keep them safe? Because essentially it's the same thing, right? Being impeccable with your word. If you guys have ever read the Four Agreements, then you know what I'm talking about with the first agreement being be impeccable with your word. If you have not read that book, I highly recommend it. It was an amazing read. We read it for book club with my friend Christy out in Bullhead City. And I've read it a couple times since then. And it definitely has made me stop and think about every little time I'm not impeccable with my word. And I have made a conscious effort to improve on that. At any rate, sidebar on that. So safe. Yeah, so how can we get from safe to impeccable with our word in a way that could trick our subconscious into that, and then thus heal that inner child wound of not feeling safe, right? So I have a tendency, and I actually made this comment to a friend of mine tonight that I was talking to. There's some people in my life anyway that they tell either their little white lies or whatever lie, right? And it's very insignificant usually. Yes, I'll do XYZ on Sunday, and then it's never done, right? And it's not a big deal, it's not like it was life or death that this thing be done. And they don't do it, and I've noticed that I don't call them out on that. And it's just not worth the battle, right? Because you reach a point, I think, in your life when you just don't want to expend the energy on calling them out on the lie or keeping them to their word, right? If somebody says they're gonna send you something and they don't, or somebody says they're going to look into something for you and they don't. And again, I'm not faulting anybody. We all do it. I am a big offender of it, and I have become more aware of it. It never occurred to me, again, and I don't mean to repeat myself, but I'm trying to keep it back, bring it back to where we started here with this word safe. I don't know if you guys have any suggestions of how to make the correlation of safe. Obviously, once you feel safe, you are able to build a level of trust. So safe, probably the feeling of safe is directly proportional to the level of trust that you have in the person. Well, trust is built. I would have said before I took this class tonight, that trust is based on being impeccable with your word. Apparently for children, especially children who were traumatized, and children who were deprived of having their mom or another caregiver around for the first few weeks that they're brought home. For example, my children were deprived of this, as I had to go back to work right away, so they only had me for a few days when they were first born. But that, she said the word, and I'll butcher it, so I won't even try, but there's it's something in your eardrums. It's like right up in here, kind of like where the bridle would be on a horse. And something about the mothers touching them there and comforting them. and providing their needs that creates that feeling of being safe. If they are deprived of that, they can be difficult children. And they can be, they don't like to be touched, is one of the manifestations of that. They are always feeling unsafe. Even if they are safe, their brain doesn't know how to regulate that. They don't understand that their needs will be provided for. And that can create things like a delay when you tell them to do something, like, tell them to take the trash out, and there's a good 5-minute delay before they do it. That's literally a physical manifestation of not having had this touch by mom for the first few weeks. Another thing is they get very, everything is very hard. When they write with a pen or pencil, they write very hard. They will have extreme outbursts, and so forth. And these are all things that I did see in my kids, and I just figured they were difficult kids, to be honest with you. And what it came down to was them not feeling safe. And maybe that's where I just made the connection, because if you think about a hotel safe, you put money in that hotel safe, right? You put your cash. And my children were deprived of that safety trigger because we needed the money, and I wasn't able to be there to give it to them. So maybe that's how I can personally make that correlation for myself, kind of reprogram my subconscious with the feeling of safety being that impeccable word, and being more important than money at the end of the day, guys. Our country and our families, I mean, I don't think that what I did with my kids was necessarily right, but I don't think I was wrong for doing it, because it was what I knew at the time, and I did the best I could. And I know that in my heart, and I don't beat myself up about it, and I don't want anybody else to beat themselves up about it too. All we can do is arm ourselves with new information, and that's what the channel is really all about. It's just to kind of spark a thought, know that other people's safety and them being in that fight or flight mode, fight, flight, or freeze, and having these big outbursts and whatnot, can all be solved by being impeccable with your word, not lying, by valuing them as much as you value your money. When you treat them as if if the safe was big enough and you had to, you put them in the safe. And you're going to make them feel safe. So I'm going to think a little more about that. Another way, just in case you guys were curious of what I learned at the class tonight, a big way to make the kids feel safe, especially kids that are coming from traumatic situations, routines and rituals. And the biggest difference that I found tonight between routine and ritual adds sound. So not just a specific bedtime, but a bedtime with a story or a song. Not just breakfast, but breakfast with engaging with your kids at the kitchen table. Not just a walk, but maybe a walk with, while engaging with your kids, or music, or some sort of adding that second or third physical sense to whatever chore it is that you're doing in the routine, creates the ritual. I actually have a ritual with my dogs. Every morning we go, we get up, I get my coffee, they get their food, I light an incense for them, and I make them sit and do 3 yoga breaths before they get a treat. Like, it's just a thing. I don't know, it works for us. But those kind of rituals and those kind of routines will actually help with that safety feeling for adults too, for that matter. At any rate, not meaning to get on a preachy thing tonight about how to make people feel safe. It was just something that struck me in the fields today, so thought I'd share that. And remember, making our kids and our loved ones feel safe should be as important as putting all of your money in a safe. All right, so you guys think about it. I challenge you to check yourself and check those around you. And if nobody else is making you feel safe, then do your best to make yourself feel safe. If you are impeccable with your word and you have your routines and your rituals, for yourself. You don't need anybody else to do it for you. Just remember that. All right, guys, I love you so, so much, and I'm going to leave it there. So grow your words, taste your language, get out there and dig your own rabbit hole, and we'll talk soon. Bye for now.